Welcome to the Ambitious Coach Podcast. This is a place where driven, determined coaches learn how to get off the business growth struggle bus and learn how to build a wildly profitable online coaching business. I'm your host, Allison Henderson, corporate dropout to six-figure social media business coach. I'm going to show you how I've been able to create the business of my dreams organically, all through utilizing my social media platforms. So pull up a seat, take some notes, and get ready to see your life and bank account transform. Hello, and welcome back to the Ambitious Coach Podcast. It's me, Allison. Welcome back. Happy February. I don't know about you, but January flew by. Really flew by for me. It was a great month, and I can't wait to share with you more about what happened to me personally, but also professionally. If you aren't familiar with these episodes, this is Allison's monthly review. So I'm going to be telling you things that happened to me in January. So what happened to me in my personal life and also businessy things. I like doing these episodes. These are unscripted, unedited. It is just me sharing with you more about me. That's really the goal of these episodes. I really want you to get a chance to know me and what I'm all about. I do a little bit of this in my stories on Instagram, but I know how important it is to build intimacy with my audience. And so by giving you these little episodes where I'm just sharing with you about my life, sharing with you more about my business mindset and just even some of my strategy stuff. I think it's really important that you also are doing this with your business. Okay. So I have a podcast. You might not have a podcast yet, which is totally fine. But you can do this in your Instagram stories. Okay. You can do this through social media. It's like giving people a chance to get to know you and what you're all about. Okay. I know for a fact, every time I've hired a business mentor in the past, I binged their podcast episodes. I was watching their stories. I was reading their posts. I was really getting a chance to, or giving myself a chance to get to know this person on a deeper level. Because I just know for a fact, if you don't know, like, or trust me, you will not buy from me. So there has to be a level of you getting a chance to know me on an intimate level. And that's what these sort of podcasts are for, is I really want you, knowing me and liking me and trusting me. And hopefully at some point you can sit there and go, she's my mentor. She's the person that I really want helping me build my business here on social media. So yeah. So that is something that I want you to consider is like, where are you doing this with your own audience? Okay. All right. So let's dive in. Let me tell you a little bit more about my month. I can't really remember. I might have told you this in my last monthly review or maybe in some of my other podcast episodes. But my husband and I were looking to, I guess, have a reset, like get fit, whatever you want to call it. So we actually decided to do a cleanse. So after like the first week of January, we did a cleanse, which is like a 10-day, no coffee, just eating really clean and healthy, moving our bodies a little bit more. So we decided to do a 10-day cleanse, which does include some caffeine. Like they come with these energy drinks, which we've been doing this cleanse for like over 10 years. Like this wasn't something new to us. We already knew how to do it. But yeah, these energy drinks we've been drinking forever. So, it just kind of was like, oh, this feels so much better than coffee. And I don't know about you, but, and I might have told you guys this before because I feel like I talk about this stuff often. I'm just never sure where. It might have been on Instagram or it might have been here on the podcast, but like coffee for me does not sit great. The caffeine is just, I think, too much for me, and I do get the jitters, and I just don't feel very good. So today, I didn't even have coffee. So before recording this, I've been drinking just like an energy drink, which just makes me feel so much better. It's like a different type of caffeine. So if you are somebody right now who's listening and you're like, Allison, I feel you on this caffeine thing. Like coffee does not make me feel good. Consider drinking something else. Like, honestly, there's other drinks out there. And this is the thing though, like I was drinking coffee, just because it was another beverage, you know what I mean? Like, or it was a beverage and it was just easy to make and it was warm. And especially in the winter months, I just wanted to have a hot beverage. I don't know how you cold brew coffee drinkers do that. I don't know how you guys drink cold coffee. It kind of makes me want to vom. And you're like, Allison, nah, I can't believe you. I love my cold brews. I'm just like I'm a hot coffee person. And so yeah, I was just very much like, I had to listen to my body there. And so I love drinking it. It was easy for me to make. And I always, like, if you probably have been on a coaching call with me or a strategy call or any sort of call with me, you know that I always have like a beverage. And a lot of it was coffee. So even now though, so after the 10 days, I did go back to wanting to drink coffee. My husband did not. He's still on a no coffee binge, whatever the word is, which is fine. So I ended up, instead of going back to like full caffeinated coffee, I decided to do the half decaf and the half caffeinated from like Folgers or whatever. I'm just a very basic coffee person, guys. You might be like, what? But I am. I just like Folgers or like Maxwell House. I'm not crazy when it comes to my coffee. But I ended up just buying the half and half of the caffeinated, I guess what you'd call it, decaf and caffeinated. And I felt so much better. And I'm not going to lie, like, I think that's just what I'm going to have to do moving forward is like less caffeine in my coffee. So anyway, once again, just check in with yourself. If this is something that is even an issue for you at all, it was becoming an issue for me. And I knew that. So, and even my teeth feel better when I don't drink coffee. And I'm just like, like your whole mouth, like the coffee breath and the coffee, everything. I don't know. Like I just feel better when I don't drink coffee. But if I am going to be drinking it, I'm going to do the half decaf and the half regular calf. I don't know why I keep saying caffeinated coffee. Anyway, so yeah, this leads me into also, I had a wellness visit this morning. So last year I had really low vitamin D. I didn't get my blood work done yet, but I'm going to get it done. And likely because I don't really leave the house much or go outside as much as I probably should, my vitamin D I knew was going to be low. And so I was just taking like a weekly pill or whatever to help with that, which always was fine. It totally was okay. But my wellness visit today, like we kind of did like a full body scan of like, what hurts, what doesn't feel right or whatever. And I just straight up was like, I just need to work out more. I know a lot of my aches and pains is because I'm not moving my body enough. So today, later this afternoon, so after I'm done recording this, I'm actually going to go work out. For years, I was going to like Orange Theory Fitness, which if you like, I guess live in North America, I'm assuming, I think Orange Theory Fitness is pretty popular. It's in like all the major cities. And it's like more like interval high intensity training. And I was also going to Stride, which is like more of like a running workout. I like running, and your guys are gonna be like, you run? How dare you? No, not really. But yeah, I like running. I was a soccer player growing up. I loved sprinting. I don't know what it is about that, and you might think I'm crazy, but I think this actually relates a lot to my business and like who I am. Like I don't want to say I sprint through life by any means, but like I just like being put into that uncomfortable position for a long period of time. And sprinting does that. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't look forward to it per se, but there is something about like pushing your body to that level of like exhaustion. And I'm that sort of person that likes to run and do that. However, after I had my second kid, so now she's like well over 3, like almost 3.5, I think, right? Yeah, my hips and my body just didn't go back to normal. Like I had to go to the chiropractor many times. Like my back and my hips were just not okay. So that's why like the running thing, and even going back to Orange Theory and stuff, I was like, just like I hurt on a different level. And so I just know like I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it again and see how it feels. And hopefully do more stretching and stuff too, like, and just eat better and really take care of myself while I'm also doing these workouts. So I just know that I need to move more, need to move my body a lot more than I already am. Like working from home is, one of those things for me where, I'm sitting a lot. I'm not moving my body enough. So it's definitely a high priority for me moving forward. And we're going to be going, I think we're going on a spring break trip. So got to get my body a little bit back into, just a little back into gear. I don't have a ton of weight to lose. I'm really fortunate. Like my body, I really love my body and how it looks. But it could be toned up a little bit. So yeah, anyway, I kind of going back to like how I sit a lot. So I started a book series. And I think I'm going to be on book 6. I read 5 books already this month from this one book series. And I don't know if I'm embarrassed to say this because like, I'm not a lazy person by any means, but like when I don't do, like if I if I have some alone time, that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm sitting there reading a book. So instead of reading a book, I probably need to be moving my body and like working out a little bit more. I think I told you guys last month that I wasn't going to be doing that much more, but like, oh God, like these books are addicting. And I don't know if you read books and you might sit there and go, Allison, I cannot relate to this at all. But it's like binging a TV show, but you're reading. And I can do this like anywhere in my house or in the car or anything. Like I can read, like even today I was like reading at the doctor's office. Like I just have it on my phone, like a Kindle app on my phone, and I'm just reading. So I think this is why I like it. And like it gets me just out of my head completely. But yeah, these books kind of consumed me for the last couple weeks. I said, I'm going to really try hard. I even told my husband this morning, I'm like, I just need to put down the books. Like I just feel so lazy right now. And it's okay to do this on the weekends, like when like I really try not to work. But yeah, it's just just such an addiction. It's such an addiction. Just like binging anything, like binging a TV show, binging food. Like it's just an addiction that I need to really, really nip in the bud here. But anyway, that's something that I love, but also know that it's something I really need to improve on if I want to continue making money in my business. All right, so let's talk about some businessy things. A couple of my clients this month, or at least one that I currently have. I was having a conversation with one in the DMs, like a past client, and I say this not to sound like arrogant, but I'm saying this because I think it's important when you find your coach, like that you like stick with this coach. Okay. So two of my clients, so one was a past client, one's actually a current client. But we just were having those conversations of like, you know, when you just like find your coach that is just like makes you feel good, like you like how they teach, you like their strategy, like everything feels really in alignment with who you are and what you're all about, like how important that is to stick with this coach. And so I was like, I was on a call and she was just like, you're the coach. You are that person for me. And yeah. And then the other one, like I was telling you, a past client, we're talking about working together in the future. And she bought a program, which is totally fine. Like I want people buying programs and still getting educated after working with me or whatever. But like, she was just like, yeah, like I want to see what it's like to continue working with you. Like I bought a program and like, I'm going to be honest, it just wasn't you, you know? And I'm like, yeah, like, so when you just know that and like you have a coach that you just really vibe with and like everything that they say, you're just like, yes, that makes sense to me. And I love that. Like, it's okay to continue hiring them out of the coaching container. So a lot of you maybe have worked with me for 3 months. It's okay to sit there and go, I want to continue having calls with you. I just know this for a fact. I've hired many coaches in like the last few years of my, my business journey here. There's been like a handful that I'm like, I love you and I will continue getting coached by you until I just get to that point where I'm like, okay, I'm on to the next person, whatever. And I have a really great coach right now. And like, yeah, she totally brings out things in me that a lot of coaches haven't, a lot of the mindset stuff that like, I really need to work on this. And I pretty much when I hired her, I was like, I'm going to need you to like go in my brain and like pick out the pieces that I need to work on. Cause sometimes this is why we hire coaches is because we can't see what we can't see. Right. And sometimes a coach can sit there and go, oh, this is the problem. Let's dissect this a little bit and like remove this. So like, let's remove this limiting belief so that you can literally just start owning who you are and what you're all about. And, yeah. So anyway, I always encourage if you find a coach that really just, this is like the person for me and you can work with them one-on-one, just continue hiring them like for a long period of time. Okay. Anyway, I always am like somebody, it's like, you got to really just check in with how you feel about anything. A mentor a long time ago told me like, because we were talking about like that feeling you get when you invest in somebody. And I tell my clients this now all the time too. It's like, does this actually excite you to spend money on this? Does it excite you to invest in this? And whatever that is like, but it's not that it could be nerve wracking. Don't get me wrong. Like it could be like, this is really like, I'm nervous to spend this money, but I'm also like so excited to do this. That's when you know it's a really good investment and that you should be doing it. Okay. But if you're like, this is almost like crippling anxiety and like it's keeping you up at night, that's something to think about. That's probably not the decision you want to be doing then, like to make that investment. All right, so that's something to think about. If it excites you, but even though it's a little bit nerve-wracking, it's totally fine. Make the investment because it's really exciting and you're going to put in the work, okay? You're going to see the results because you're excited to do it. But if you're making this investment and it's, like I said, one of those things where you're like, wow, it's keeping me up at night because I'm so nervous to do this, but in like a anxiety type of way. Like, if I do this, I'm not going to get my money back, or I'm not like, so there's always difference between like buying from a place of abundance and then also buying from a place of scarcity, right? That's something to check in with. Like, I know I've made investments because of scarcity before, and that investment never worked out. But when I make the investment of like, oh, I'm ready, I'm excited to learn something new, I have the capacity right now to really put my all into whatever it is that I'm investing in. Like, that's why I know it's a really good time. It's a really good thing to do. So always just something to check in with. And if you need more clarity on that, like, let me know. Cause I do feel like the stuff that we talk about in my program, but like, if you just need like a good chat and a DM, like, this is also why I'm here. It's also why I'm here. All right, guys. I'm trying to think if there's really anything else that I wanted to share with you today. Something that I have written down here is like one of my clients this week, like, I teach a really specific way to sell in Social Media Sales Blueprint, one of my programs. And even in Social Selling 101, it's just like, yeah, I have a very specific way that I like people to sell. And this is how I sell. So if you like watch my stories, it's very similar. Okay. And we were just like talking about like how there's so many different ways to sell. And I encourage you to try a lot of different ways, because depending on your audience, and depending on who you are too, you might sit there and say, oh, I love talking on video. I like to sell on like live video, or I like to sell on my stories and just like talk about my offer like in a video. Some of you guys might like the carousel type of selling. I teach, like I said, a lot of different ways, and there's not a right or wrong way. I just want you to know this. And I want you trying all of these, because you might sit there and say, oh, a lot of my audience is this type of learner and they need to see written word. Or this person's more of an audio learner. So when I sell on a podcast, she's like, oh, I get it. I can envision that. I can see it like in my mind. So everybody's such a different learner. And I know, like, just from being a teacher years ago, I don't remember all the names of like the different kind of learners, but there's like studies done of this, okay? So it's okay to sell in many different ways, and it's going to attract different people. And you're going to need to say things over and over and over again for somebody to actually make that decision for themselves. Like, it has to click in their head. So that's why marketing and sales needs to be repetitive. And for us to I don't want to say give up, like, don't give up the current strategy that you're doing right now. But sometimes it's okay to try something else. Try a different way to sell. Not try a new strategy. Okay, that's not what I'm saying here. But like, it's okay to sell in a video or go live and at the end completely pitch your offer, or maybe do a masterclass and pitch your offer at the end. Okay, like, think of other ways that you can attract more clients to you and get people enrolled into your programs. Okay, so it's not always just super black and white. There's a lot of different ways that you can attract people into your programs and to get more people enrolled. Okay, so all right, I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for listening. Honestly, like, I get messages from you guys like a few times a week that just says, I love your podcast. And yeah, it just means the world to me. It really makes my day. So all you have to do, it's super simple. All you have to do is take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram. And you can share this with your entrepreneur friends, your coaching friends and family, anybody who has a business that's looking to grow on social media. So also, if you're looking for a business mentor, or you're looking for somebody to help you grow your business and find and sign clients on social media, I encourage you to apply to work with me and book your sales call. We can get started as early as next week. So if you're like, Allison, I'm ready, I love your podcast, I love learning from you, then girl, what are you waiting for? Go click the link in my show notes. All right, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on Thursday. Thank you for listening to the Ambitious Coach podcast today. A couple favors before you go. If you found this episode helpful, please take a screenshot and share it on Instagram. Most importantly, don't forget to tag me at Allison Henderson _coach. That's ALLISON Henderson_coach. And lastly, please take a minute to rate this episode and leave a raving review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to listen. Okay, ambition is great, but it's time to get to work. Take action and commit to being 1% better every day. Once again, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you again next week.